Hello, everybody, and welcome back to week 30 of tracking our local shifting real estate market here in southern New Jersey, Burlington, Camden, Gloucester counties, 900,000 and below. So this is going to be a quick one for you here today. I just wanted to highlight basically 2 points and give you a quick story about what's been going on in the market and some of the things you have to be worried about. So first off, we got a perfect golden ratio this week, meaning our new listings were higher than our pendings or under contracts, and that was higher than our closed units. In our attempt to begin to refill the coffers that are the active available listings for us on the market, we need to see those new listings being higher than the pendings, and we need those being higher than the close. And we did 327 to 314 to 260. So that is great to see. A little bit low on the closed numbers comparatively, just as we've seen over these past couple months. It's one of the third lowest or something like that. I would say about fourth lowest. So not bottoming out, but still on the lower end. And for us, the expired, withdrawn, and cancels were the lowest all year. That really was the data point that actually went to its record of only 41 total for expireds, withdrawn, and canceled of any listings that didn't sell. Now, the rest of the numbers, our prices are kind of hovering back, came off the high plane of that 345 down to the 339 again. But what's been really nice to see is the volume on the market has just had a really steady increase, and we've gained probably about 35 million in total volume on the market since the beginning of June, where we went from about 415 up to 450. Right, 415 up to 450. So total available volume on the market, and that's indicative of the total active listings and things like that, which we have seen started to climb. So really, we've seen some pretty healthy trend lines going on these past couple of weeks, these past 5 to 6 weeks, and that's something we can bank on. Now, that's the stats for this week. We're going to end up obviously get our averages for July compiled. We'll start to compare that next to June because July has been a little bit of a healthier month. So we'd like to see some of that trend line changing from what we've seen for the first 6 months of the year. Now, let's flip script here because I wanted to make this again quick, but I want to tell you about something that's going on. This isn't necessarily about the market as much as it is about who you end up working with when you get under contract. I have a buyer right now, a young couple that's been looking to purchase a home. We've gotten them under contract 3 times. Now, this is very peculiar. The first time we got them under contract, we were all the way done. We were about a week away from closing. And guess what happened? The person whose home we were buying, that seller, lost their job, couldn't complete their purchase, and ended up having to settle in back where they were. Nothing we could do about it. You can't force a seller out. We couldn't force, specific performance or anything like that. It was an unfortunate situation, but we rolled with it, right? So back on the wagon we go. So then we start taking a look at another home. Now, we found a home quickly. It looked great from the pictures. We walked through it quickly because, again, we felt kind of rushed to get them back under. And we found another house. And when we went to have the home inspection, it was a nightmare to say the least. It was the longest home inspection that my home inspector has ever done, almost 5.5 hours. And he had a second person with him. And this home was only about 1,400 square feet. So that should just tell you how much stuff he found in the attics, in the foundation, all of the things that we couldn't see. We couldn't see those things from our perspective, just walking through. This place looked like a nice flip. So anyway, we had to cancel that again. And now we got him under contract a third time. Now, here's where the story kind of comes in. One, it's hard to get an offer accepted, let alone get your offer accepted once, twice, 3 times. So we were able to get her under contract, her and her boyfriend under contract 3 times. But this third transaction has almost pushed us to the breaking point. The agent who we're working on, they're called our cooperative agent, okay? We have to work together as a team. Now, our team, Sam Lepore Group, we have a mantra that we're going to do 60% of the work. We just know that we should only be doing 50, but we know that in order to facilitate a good sale and to make sure that the customer service is at its highest for yourself, the buyer, the seller, whichever side that we're on, and honestly, the other person, whoever it is, buyer, seller, other agent, we want to make sure we put on a good face. What we've been dealing with is, I don't want to say incompetence is the wrong word, but there's a difference between here's a good way. There's a difference between being proactive and reactive as a real estate agent. When you're a reactive agent, you just let stuff hit the fan and then you try and solve it. And yeah, that obviously you'd want to solve it because you're known about it, but there's a lot of things that you could know about if you did even a modicum of due diligence ahead of time to be proactive. And what we're dealing with right now is a property that's next to a railway. So the rail line comes in at an angle and is actually on part of the property. Now, when this seller bought it, they just put a driveway down. They ended up putting a driveway on the property line that is a state federal run railway. And so we get under contract, we buy this house, we're going through all this stuff. And we only found out about this because the appraiser told us that we need to put up a fence between the two properties. And then when they went to go do the fence, they never got a survey. So the fence person goes out and starts laying the fence in the wrong direction on the property again. We had to call, stop everything. You don't have a survey seller. You were supposed to get that since you're responsible for the fence, since you agreed to do that. So they started putting a fence along. So we had to backtrack over this entire month because this seller and this agent just started putting driveways down and fences down on property that they don't even own. So we've had to go through all sorts of concessions. We ended up getting the buyer's going to be walking away from this closing table with money. I mean, that's how much this seller has screwed up, but we have kind of fought them every step of the way to make sure that we end up getting the right representation for our buyer. So what's the story of all this? Who you work with matters. The agent that you go into battle with needs to have a team around them. I don't need them to be on a team, right? If you go with us, we are a team, and I have a dedicated admin, and I have a team leader that I run stuff through. I have a listing coordinator, right? We have a team. Even if you're working with an individual agent, right? This isn't always just about come work with me. It's about educating you if you are going to end up working with somebody else. Make sure that agent has a good, solid understanding of the market, has a good team around them to deal with these sort of things, and ask them, tell me about some of the craziest deals that you've had this year. The level at which they're going to be able to give you the details of that will tell you if they're a reactive agent or a proactive agent. A proactive agent will tell you all the reasons of why it happened, give you the different steps of that timeline, and be very specific about how they handled it. A reactive agent will just say something along the lines of, oh, we had somebody who was crazy, or this popped up, and we ended up settling it, and it was all fine in the end, but it was... No, we don't want to hear. You want to hear what were the specific ways that they attacked that transaction and attack that with the experience and the team that they have to make sure that they got you home. So anyway, a little bit of a tangent here today. Love our numbers. Golden ratio's back. Numbers from a price point are staying where they're at. Who you work with matters. Make sure that the real estate agent that you're going to be working with knows what they're doing. Always happy to chat with you about that. Have a great day, everybody. See you next week, week 31.